Okay.
And you had the release this week, again, this is in relation to the proposed rate hike by National Grid.
Yes.
You're out there every day talking to small businesses. It's an issue of high importance to you, and you are looking to fight this rate hike.
That's what's happening. We're out in 39 communities in the state, visiting with small businesses, but it happens that the rate increase that's being proposed is going to impact not only just the businesses out there, but every resident out in the state of Rhode Island, and there's about 485,000 of us.
So talk with us when you first heard it. You know, they've got their rationale. Have you talked with folks at Grid and they're saying, well, we need to do it for X, Y, Z. Where are you at with communications with them as they're sort of crying, we need to do this, and you're hearing from small business owners that say, we can't absorb this?
So this is not our first step in. In 2014, we intervened about a month before I became Lieutenant Governor on behalf of the small businesses and the ratepayers. And we've intervened along the line every time that we think there's a docket that is, that is not in the best interest of the ratepayers in the state of Rhode Island. So when we intervened in 2015, I think many of your viewers will know about that was billing adjustments. If you changed your energy provider, which you could because of deregulation in the state of Rhode Island, you might get whacked with a billing adjustment. So we were able to intervene and get rid of the billing adjustment, which really sets us up really good today, because what we did, we set up a website, Empower Rhode Island, where you can go and shop your electricity. It's safe, it's simple, and you save money. And today is the perfect storm.
So talk with us, again, fighting this proposed rate increase. Talk with us about the nuts and bolts of this. What does it look like moving forward?
So just as we did in the past, we intervened last summer on the pipeline issue, and we didn't object to the increase of the capacity, but we did object to the fact that the proposal said that the electric ratepayers were going to pay 100% of the cost of the pipeline. So that's the logistic. You intervene, you state your case, and what we're going to do now is we're going to state our case. Look, if you go to Empower Rhode Island today, I did this morning, and I changed my electric provider this morning. And during the time frame when the National Grid is going to be charging 9.5 cents for that energy that fires up the plants, I'm going to be paying 6.2 cents. And any of your listeners or any of the people who are viewing this right now could go to Empower Rhode Island, and they actually could shop their electricity today, and they could eliminate that entire increase that's being proposed. Now, in addition to that, we're going to fight for the ratepayers so that we can try to build the case that says if energy providers that are on that website are offering energy at 6.2 cents and the National Grid is at 9.5 cents, we need to ask the question why.
So you've had conversations with them on multiple occasions, and when you're talking about Empower RI and giving folks the option to go to something cheaper, do you think that National Grid is aware of this, that people can literally sort of vote with their feet, if you will, and choose another provider?
They're very aware of the fact that there is a brother private. In fact, they testified a number of times back in 2014, 2015, that they consider themselves, National Grid, the energy provider of last resort on the part of the bill that the energy fires up the plant. They make their profit on the energy that as they deliver that energy to your home, they make that the profit. So they're fully aware of that, and they've explained themselves as being the energy provider of last resort. They want more competition to come into the market, and that's exactly what we've been able to do with the website, and also legislation that we just put forward this year that was in Ohio, a company from Ohio suggested we put in. When Massachusetts put in, shopping increased by 86% over 2 years. Ohio, 60% of the ratepayers shop their electricity. So what we need to do is we need to keep on fighting for the ratepayers on these increases, continue to project out plans that would eliminate this thought process that continually gets repeated in the media, that look, they don't make any profit on this piece of the bill, and it's a capacity issue, and as long as they don't have the capacity increase, then in the winter there's going to be these huge spikes and you're not going to be able to control the cost. We need to actually debunk that theory, although we do think that more capacity is important, but that doesn't mean that we're going to have to live with high spikes in these winter months. Just do what I did. Go to the website, 6.2 cents. I'm going to pay 6.2 cents on my electric bill going forward, and it won't change anything in terms of the delivery of electricity.
So how much of your time is this taking up in this national grid issue right now? You sent the release out, you're going around making sure folks know about this. I mean, it must be taking up quite a bit.
It's taking up time, but it's worth it because when you're talking about 485,000 ratepayers in the state of Rhode Island, and you do the math, if every one of them went to the 6.2 cents, they would all be saving well over $100 during that 6 months. That's about $50 million of savings. So I think that it's well worth the time. We've already saved the ratepayers when the billing adjustment went away. That was $1.5 million the previous year that was charged back to ratepayers on that billing adjustment. So this is well worth the time. And right now, this window, this is a perfect storm, and thank you for having me here today, because this is a perfect storm of how we can show how competition and how you can shop your electricity does save you money, and this is the perfect opportunity to present that case.
Well, I appreciate your coming in to bring it right to the people, as you said, talking right to the street
Yeah,
over
I'm
here.
I'm talking right to the street. I was waving as people going by.
Talking right to the street.
Yes.
Talk with us a little bit more while we have you in studio about kind of the small businesses that you've heard from. You know, here we are, it's August. Talk with us maybe about what you consider wins in the General Assembly this year for the small business community, and what you're still working on after hearing from folks as you go out into the communities of Rhode Island.
So I think it's important to mention that over the last 6 months, and I think it has something to do with our intervening, and they've changed the way that they set the time frames of the electric billing, we're still talking on electric rates, is that over the last 6 months, the National Grid's standard offer was the best offer in the market. And that's what we want to, we're not looking to beat the National Grid, we're just trying to get the best offer. And to your point of who I'm talking to people out there, we're visiting 39 communities in the state of Rhode Island. We visited diners with diner owners, with municipal leaders and state leaders, talked to them questions about, you know, what's going okay, what's not going okay, how can we help. We just finished a farm tour, which was excellent, talking to the farmers in all 39 communities in the state of Rhode Island, whether it was the oyster farm or whether it was a goat farm up in Situate that does goat milk soap. And we're asking them the same question. So our goal, we'll be out talking to 39 communities in the construction sites, then following up manufacturing, following up with art, following up with retail, and we're going to try to be asking the very important questions. What's going okay, what's not going well, and how can we help and put a legislative package together next year that will help the small business community.
What are you looking to see up at the State House if they're going back in September? The Senate is voting on the budget today. What are you keeping an eye on at the Assembly?
Well, I think that we need to keep the economy as strong as we possibly can. So when you talk about things that impact small business, like the sick pay legislation, our position is the sick pay, if you did it during, like other states have, and you qualified it with companies that have more employees than just a few employees, because the companies with just a few employees, they really can't absorb these costs of sharp minimum wage increases or these costs that are related to sick pay. Mm-hmm. What they should be doing, and they have done it in other states, which is a good idea to do some of these things, but if you're willing to don't just put it on the back of the small business, right? If you want to provide those benefits that the state would dictate, then what they should do is that the state should step up and give some offsetting relief to the small businesses on, say, on payroll taxes, for instance. So I'm okay with it as long as there's a balance on these things, but you got to keep your eye out on those things. And the other thing in terms of, as I'll put my municipal hat on as a mayor for 12 years, the evergreen contracts. That means that if contracts end, there's legislation that has been passed and has been vetoed by the governor, mm-hmm. all right, that if a contract ends, it continues. And that really creates an unlevel playing field. And as a mayor who left with every contract in place and not one grievance on the table, I think we were very successful working with the union contracts. You don't want to create an imbalance there in either direction. So you need to maintain, the management has a certain leverage points and the unions have certain leverage points, and a bill like that would throw it out of kilter and it would actually create a very big imbalance. So hopefully that veto that the governor put in on that issue, they'll follow the lead of the municipal leaders that have been outspoken saying, look, leave that alone.
Well, we're going to continue to keep an eye as to what happens up there, both today, looking at September, but of course the issue, again, of the proposed National Grid rate hike. I'm glad you came in to talk with folks, yeah. Talk directly to them about Empower RI, issues and options that they can, again, take the sort of matters into their own hands. And I'm sure your office will keep us in the loop, but we appreciate your being accessible today.
Yeah, we'll do that. Just remember two things. You can shop it, and we're gonna fight the increases.
Okay, Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee, I appreciate your coming
Okay.
in today. We'll talk soon.
That was very interesting to talk, not to you, but directly to the street.
Directly to the people. That's
Yes.
what we do here
Okay.
at Go Local. Dan
Okay.
McKee, thank you for
All
coming
right.
in. We'll talk
Thank you.
soon. Okay, I'll leave
Okay.
you around the corner.